Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and you know what? It is time for an adventure. So let's grab our assorted potions, polish that broadsword, and stuff our chubby bodies into tight-fitting armor and head out on the road. Gosh, it's nice out here, isn't it? Fresh, digital air, and look, over there, the developers have laid out a nice clear path for us to follow called Main Story Street. How perfect is that? Should we follow that then? This nice and balanced path, shall we? Maybe we should go down that route. Yeah, the one covered in thorns and difficulty spikes, the one that is screaming danger from all aspects of its being. That looks pretty good, right? Of course it does, because we, as gamers, can't say no to a hearty challenge, and what better expression of this than taking on a secret boss, or 10 of them that are hidden away by video game creators as tests of true skill, or even just as a bit of a joke. So today, come with me, friend, as I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are the 10 best secret video game bosses you must find. And apologies if I sound a little ill, it's because I am. Number 10, AKUMA, Super Street Fighter 2. We'll kick this list off with one of the earliest and best examples of a secret boss, which comes to us from the long, long ago days of the arcade, and way before such a character would have been introduced to its audience through a DLC or season pass. I'm speaking, of course, about AKUMA. This fiery little devil is actually the brother of Ryu and Ken's master, Goken, who has fallen to the dark powers of evil, which have slowly corrupted him over time. Not that he cares, though, because he's one of the most powerful fighters in the series and looks like an absolute badass, which has garnered him a cult-like following amongst the fan base. He's also an absolute mare to even convince to come out of hiding and beat you to a pulp, as you'll need to get numerous perfect matches and end fights with supers, or just get through to the final battle in under 25 minutes to even get a glimpse of him. And I mean that literally, as for most players, the next battle will be over before they know it, with AKUMA turning his back on your character in disgust. It was the stuff of legend and a real test of skill and strength. Nowadays, though, well, you can just open your wallet and buy him. Cool, brilliant. Number 9, Morgan Freeman, South Park, The Fractured But Whole. Yes, you heard that correctly, and no, I'm not making it up. You can actually get into a fight with the smooth-voiced, genial, and all-around amazing human being, Morgan Freeman. And it's here that you remember that you're playing a South Park game, so as odd as this sounds, it kind of fits the bill. The thing is, when you actually meet Freeman in-game, he's harmless, preferring instead to tend to his business of Freeman's tacos, and he won't even bother you at all. In fact, for the most part, the most you can get out of him is snapping a picture with the legendary actor. However, if you trade snaps for slaps and try to damage Mr. Morgan, well, he's going to spice up your drink real nice, pal, as this will trigger a battle with him, and simply put, he is no pushover. If you are anything less than high-leveled or well-equipped, you are about to take on a new film role, that of battered child in Morgan Freeman's new flick, That Time I Beat the Piss Out of a Kid. It's not really a catchy title, but you can't say much because you'll be dead and dusted by the point it hits cinemas if you tangle with this actor. Number 8, Gear Rex, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Metal Gear Solid, as a series, is renowned for its eclectic variety of bosses. In no particular order, we've had shamans, psychics, big robots, nanomachine-enhanced vampires, cyborg ninjas, bigger robots, Fat Man. Who doesn't love Fat Man? And yeah, it's pretty weird, right? But Hideo was clearly not convinced that this was mad enough, so took Snake on a kind of holiday thanks to a crossover with other big mad boss monster game, Monster Hunter. That's right, hidden away in the Peace Walker mission structure are Monster Hunter regulars, Rathalos and a Tigrex, both of which are mad to encounter given that this game is meant to be a stealth 'em up, but that is nothing compared to the super secret Gear Rex. An organic take on the Metal Gear Rex bipedal robot, the Gear Rex is a formidable foe in MGS Peace Walker, and one that has kind of a bit of a sad origin story, with it being so hideously mutated thanks to nuclear experimentation on its home island. Still though, if you have any sympathy with it, don't, as it'll eat you like beans on toast given half the chance. The battle itself is intense, with you having to run through pretty much all of your arsenal in order to take it down, but those bragging rights, well, they're totally worth it. Number 7, Ultima Weapon, Final Fantasy VIII. Now, in all honesty, this list could have easily just been filled with Final Fantasy secret bosses alone, for there are a staggering amount of them across the long-running series. But today, instead of the rubies, emeralds, or Iazamats of the world, I want to look at Final Fantasy VIII, because you know what? That game doesn't get nearly as much love as it deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, ULTIMA weapon, an ultimate pain in the ass that you can find hiding away in a deep-sea research center in the southwestern area of the map. At the very bottom of the lab, you will be able to fight ULTIMA weapon, and he is absolutely no joke, rinsing your party with light pillar, which will kill one member outright each and every time. However, the fight is totally worth it, as you can draw the most powerful Guardian Force Eden from ULTIMA. However, be prepared for a battle that starts off as an uphill slog and only gets worse as it draws on. While not the most difficult in the game, nor the series, the fact that he's so hidden and that you have to have beaten Bahamut in order to even face ULTIMA makes it more than worthy of this list. Number 6. Gem the Jeweler, Illusion of Time / GAIA. Another underrated classic here, Illusion of Time, is a brilliantly crafted RPG which still holds up to this day. And tucked away in this gem is another gem of a different manner, Gem the Jeweler, who, if you've ever made the mistake of taking on Rodin from Bayonetta, should give you an indication of what's going to happen next. Throughout Will's journey to the Tower of Babel to stop a comet from destroying the Earth, you come across red jewels in various locales around the world. These can be sent to Gem the Jeweler, who rewards you after receiving a predetermined amount. These range from stat and health boosts, health items, to ability boosts for Will and the avatars he transforms into. So understandably, when you get the 50th and are treated to a trip to Gem's mansion, you'll be thinking, oh man, what spoils am I going to get from this? There's giddy excitement all around, it's falling out of my pockets. But sadly, these hopes are dashed, as it turns out that Gem is actually Solid Arm, the boss from the prequel game Soul Blazer. Oh crap. Well, it turns out that you've had your strings royally pulled, and now you've got to take on a boss that isn't just difficult but was totally out of left field, meaning you probably didn't even prepare for this encounter at all and likely got wiped. Number 5. ESSEJ, Control. If you've yet to play Control, then apologies, as this will be a bit of a spoiler, so turn away if you want this to remain a secret. Alright, so first off, how good is this game? It's a joy to throw cement blocks around like an angry toddler chucking its toys out of the pram, and the story, well, it's absolutely off the wall and weird. It's utterly brilliant for how it refuses to take the player's hand. I like this a lot. I also love the battle with ESSEJ, or ESSEJ, I don't really know how you're meant to pronounce it, which can be encountered when you take Jessie on a mission to tame a mirror, which is an object of power in the game. The mirror distorts reality, meaning that, of course, it distorts Jessie herself. As you enter the reversed world, you're shadowed by a reflective doppelganger, and as this pretender rivals your strength and powers, you are in for the fight of your life. If you can beat the mirror version of yourself, then you also get a cool new skin for doing so, making this not only an exhilarating boss battle, but one with a decent reward as well. Number 4. FLEMETH, Dragon Age Origins. Parents, eh? Can't live with them, can't ask a band of grey wardens to kill them when they turn into dragons. I know, right? Relatable. But that is precisely what Morrigan, daughter of FLEMETH, asks you to do when she discovers that Mummy Dearest is actually a bit of a bad egg. Of course, she doesn't start out as an evil character and is seemingly innocent in her apparent desire to save the world. Even her intentions seem just, sending reluctant daughter Morrigan with you to take on the Blight. And so if you choose to return and rightly confront her, you'll find yourself with a decision. Either let her flee or make her pay for her crimes. And, well, just be careful with this decision, as by choosing to fight, you won't be taking on an old lady, but a massive dragon that will roast your nuts like it's Christmas at Bob Cratchit's house. The shock value of this change is sure to catch a ton of new players off guard, but steel yourself, young wardens, and you should come out on top. It's very cool as well. Number 3. Mr. Game & Watch, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Mr. Game & Watch is a true unsung hero. Whilst many may know the Mario family as the face of Nintendo or the adventures of Link & Company, Mr. Game & Watch was a sidelined mascot for the company for many years, doing the grunt work and asking for none of the fame. Now, for the young'uns in the crowd, the Game & Watch franchise was a series of rudimentary handheld titles covering juggling, kart racing, and tennis, as well as many others. Therefore, it was a lovely throwback to see that he was a hidden character in the Melee roster. While not immediately available, unlocking the 2D hero can be done through a couple of requirements. Either beat various challenge modes with all the main characters, or play a staggering 1,000 versus match. Then and only then will you get to face off against the, faceless man in the final arena of the game. In keeping true to his origins, Mr. Game & Watch will attack with all sorts of his air quotes trademark moves carried over from his many games, and be warned because they are so varied it's really hard to predict what's going to happen next. Number 2. The Adventurer, Bravely Default. The Adventurer, a mostly friendly shopkeeper that you can find in Bravely Default, is pretty much always found near save points throughout your journey. At first this seems innocent enough when he's in towns and such, but then you start seeing him pop up in enemy areas and even the final dungeons of the game, and it's here that you start asking some questions. Maybe there's more to this maroon-wearing merchant than appears. Well, why not challenge him when offered and see what he's made of, right? Well, here's the big twist though, is that it's not just one adventurer and his trusty comrade, but a whole damn troop of them. Which makes this battle even harder because if you don't take out the current adventurer and buddy in the same turn, they replenish one another at the end of the round. So this turns an already difficult fight into one of tactics and timing to make sure that you can fell them both in one swoop. Seems that these adventurers have learned some tricks on their travels, right? And number 1, the Demon of Hatred, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It's always the person you least suspect, isn't it? Well, unless you suspected the gruff man who always reluctantly aids you and has had a shrouded past, and in which case, yeah, you'd be bang on the money with this one. But for some, they weren't expecting the carpenter who assists the one-eyed wolf, aka the guy who provides you with your Swiss Army arm, to be a secret boss in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Yet as you progress, you learn that he was once like you, but gave up the shinobi life before it consumed him and he became a demon. And in this weird alternate reality warp, you can fight this sculptor gone rogue, and it is bloody intense. From the way it attacks, the bounding lopes it takes, and the insistence on punishing you for sticking close, this boss honestly feels more akin to Bloodborne than any other boss in the game, and as a result, it almost asks you to unlearn everything that Sekiro has taught you. It's fantastic, oddly beautiful in its design, and best of all, will leave your heart pounding come the closing few hits. Just what all brilliant side bosses should hope to accomplish. And there we go, those were the 10 best secret video game bosses that you must find. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, as well as any other bosses that you would add to this list, because I'm sure there are countless more. As always, I've been Jules, and go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. And as always, you have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.